Yo, what's up guys, new Siege video, playing against unknown and hidden actions, and this might be the last time that my Seara Giana with Raoq team is very good, because we're getting the nerf on the S1 and this team is very dependent on the S1s. It's a lot of turn cycling, it's taking a lot of turns before the enemy takes a turn, and of course with team up more S1s and getting a lot more turns. So this offense, unfortunately, is going to get a lot worse. Sadly, I really like this offense. But is it going to be that you cannot use it anymore at all? I'm not 100% sure about that. I think it's still good to the extent where you can still drop bombs, you can still do the AoE stunts, you can still do, well, if they have immunity or any buff. But I feel like it's still pretty usable, still pretty good, but it's going to be quite a bit worse as well. So these teams actually, Unknown is very well known for having a lot of Sylvias, and I think Sylvia is a very good defense unit. However, there's just a few hard counters to it that kind of destroy and kill it pretty badly. And this is one of those. It also really depends like how good the Kinky and Sylvia and Iris are ruined, because some are a lot more dangerous than some others. This one, well, did have a few amount of procs, but also didn't do all too much damage, I would say. It didn't do all too much, so maybe it also didn't stun too much, but I don't know. Also, Kinky and defense in general. That's going to be an interesting one, because sure, not everything has always crits, but there's a lot more units than you think, actually. Even in that force, you have like the Neosome fighters have that, apparently the Bernard Dark, what's his name, Varus or something, also has an always crit, and there's just a bunch of units that do those kind of things. So, all in all, I would say relatively interesting for some Siege defenses, I guess. But on the other hand, it's also going to make Siege offense even easier, because all of the buffs that they did, maybe except the Dice Magician, are just buffing offenses and not buffing defenses. And offense is already kind of easy, I would say, with Windies and that kind of stuff going around, with Long Bolvrick being a thing, with TOA Harding being a thing, with one-shotting, one-sniping things. I feel like offense already quite has the upper hand, and defense is the really difficult part with current Siege meta. So I kind of expected the buff kind of the other way around, where they would buff defense rather than offense, especially on net force. On net force, I really feel like nothing works. So yeah, we shall see, we shall see. Question I had with this one was, I was not sure if I wanted to put Destroy on the unit on the right, because he still does a lot of damage even if you destroy it. Maybe he even does more damage when you destroy it. The only thing is if you potentially sleep it or something, then he doesn't do as much. And of course, it's one of the better targets to focus to kill, I guess. But pretty hard LD team got countered by relatively easy units. I feel like the Saurian is also one of those powerhouses in Siege. The Saurian is really one of those units that, if you're struggling with Siege, don't mind and just get more Thesaurians. It really does work. And current meta especially, there's so many things with like weird ass passives that are just hard counted by Thesaurians in general. So yeah, good tip if you're struggling with anything in Siege and Net 5s, build more Thesaurians. You can get them from your guild content as well, so easy as that. And now we're fighting some MSTs. And MSTs, well, the thing is, Windy is just too OP. Even without Windy, there's a lot of other options to also kill MSTs, but Windy is just, in my opinion, one of the stronger options to kill MSTs consistently. It is kind of dependent like how good your Tractor, Windy, Lulu, runes and artifacts are. Mine actually do quite some damage, and they pretty much got nothing in damage stats. There's pretty much no attack, sure, for Tractor's defense, but he still has a lot of HP, a decent amount of speed, and it's just additional stuff, mainly. Without the additional artifacts, with additional damage artifacts, this team wouldn't be as good. So yeah, you know how these teams go, right? You know how they go. You just go with some tractor bullshit, some windy bullshit, and you make sure your team doesn't die. But the thing is, I fought this twice. So I have twice the amount of boring stuff. Yay! I don't know, man. There is an option if you get armor broken and then they hella like if the Lulu gets armor broken and then you get hella procced on both Triana and Martina, that it might get somewhat dangerous, but the odds of that happening is so slim. It's just, it can happen, like one in I don't know how much time, but odds are just too slim. Especially because you're 100 res, most of the Martinas are not that high on accuracy, even if the Shining is 25 extra accuracy. Mostly the units are still that around, like what, 25, 30 accuracy tops. So yeah, just speeding up this process a little bit, because this is a fight you've seen so many times, so often. And sadly enough, it's just the easiest, the best thing to do. I could go for the Bethany teams, which are a little bit more fun to see. However, I have to rerun more for those teams, so I mostly don't use it. So again, more Sylvias, a lot more Sylvias, which I thought was pretty interesting to go with this team. Ferret will be changed to the way that he doesn't glance if the defense is lower, but in this case, it only matters against wind units, and there were no wind units in this case. And apparently this Nana does damage. That's funny too. I haven't used Ferret in a really long time, but I feel like Ferret becomes pretty interesting after a buff as well. A little bit more base speed helps him out a lot too. And then using the Shiner Martina of my own. Maybe not the safest of ways of going into a Kinky with an Iris. Because you're gonna get, what's it called? He's gonna counter and then AoE stun you. Oh no, wait. You're doing AoEs and therefore he counters, so that's the annoying part. So, is that the best approach? Probably not. Would I recommend this team? Probably not. Does my Shiner Martina do too much damage? Kind of. Kind of. That's the only way you make your Shiner Martina work on offense. Do a lot of damage. And still be tanky and that kind of stuff, but mainly damage. And then the last hitter, the redemption of the Liam that lost in the last round. Is this the best Liam showcase? By all means, probably not really. This is still kind of tricky. If he did Reckless Assault on the Liam, and then actually stunned the Liam, and then that other thing would have moved, probably been dead. Well, actually did outspeed it, so. But still would have been somewhat too pretty tricky. Would not really recommend this team. Not into the Savannah at least. Other teams, maybe. This, nah. They work in the end? Yeah, it's looking like kind of working, I guess. Liam is just a cool unit. That's the main thing. It's too bad that this S1 and S2 are kind of mediocre, but the S3 is really cool. Maybe you should have one cooldown reduction on the S3. Would be cool. Maybe it would make it too OP. Because the S3 is actually really OP. The moment it starts hitting the last hits after 50% HP, just so freaking much damage. The thing is, it's already to the point that you don't need that much damage anymore. That's the only sad part about it. You start killing the moment you don't have to kill that extensively anymore. So, Either how, that was a pretty quick 10-10, I would say. I think it was 10-10, right? Was it though? Was it though? Yay, 10-10. So yeah, that's it for this Siege video. Next Siege, I think will be with the next balance patch, if CountOS is fast enough with us. Mostly if they announce the balance patch on the Monday, they have it released by like Wednesday, Thursday-ish, I guess, I hope, I pray. We shall see either how there's going to be a few changes, not too many, to Siege. I would say Net Force will change around the tournament. That's where people start trying out new stuff, whether it for the better or the worse. But we shall see either how, guys. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.